We all wonder how much time we have left, especially as the years roll past our 70s. Every year feels more precious, and the truth is our bodies, these amazing and complex machines, are constantly sending us signals about our potential for longevity and the quality of our future life. You don't need to wait for complex medical tests or genetic screenings to get these clues. Often, they show up in the most ordinary actions and states that we sometimes don't notice or dismiss as inevitable signs of aging. Look at the people around you. Some are in their 70s, yet they remain full of energy, sharp, active, as if time is treating them kindly. Others at the same age begin to slow down, facing a cascade of health problems, chronic fatigue, a waning interest in life. What's the difference? Often it lies precisely in these non-obvious but powerful indicators, the subtle signals the body gives us every day, hinting at its internal resilience and ability to withstand the pressure of time. These signs are not the stuff of guesswork or folklore. They are revealed through large-scale studies, long-term observations conducted by scientists and doctors on the lives of thousands of people who manage to maintain health and activity into old age. Studying these patterns gives us not just a prediction, but much more importantly, a tool for understanding ourselves and levers to influence our own future. By recognizing these signs in our bodies and lifestyles, we gain a clear picture of where we stand on the trajectory of aging and, most encouragingly, what we can do to change that trajectory, add years to our lives, and, no less importantly, life to our years. Neglecting these signals means missing valuable opportunities for correction. Conversely, paying attention to them opens the path to a more energetic, vibrant, and healthy future. As we delve into this topic, we discover that some of the strongest indicators of longevity after 70 are not hidden deep within our DNA or voluminous medical charts, but in something much simpler and more observable. Take, for example, walking speed. This seemingly ordinary aspect of our movement is one of the most powerful predictors of lifespan. Studies consistently show that people who maintain a steady, brisk walking pace in their 70s and beyond generally live longer than those whose gait becomes slow and shuffling. Why? Because walking speed is a composite measure directly linked to a multitude of bodily systems: overall muscle strength, cardiovascular health, lung function, coordination, and even the state of the brain. It's a test of overall physical functionality and vitality. Consider two 75-year-old men, Joe and Frank. Joe goes for a walk every morning, keeps a brisk pace, easily crosses a busy street at the light, and confidently climbs stairs. His movements are fluid, balanced, radiating confidence. Frank, also once active, has slowed down considerably over the past few years. He struggles to keep pace with others, takes frequent breaks, and sometimes feels unsteady on his feet. Joe's pace suggests that his body is still functioning efficiently, his muscles are strong, his heart is resilient, and his nervous system is coordinating his movements. Frank's declining speed and stability, conversely, may not just be a sign of getting old, but an alarming signal of deteriorating health, underlying muscle atrophy, sarcopenia, worsening circulation, problems with the nervous system, or even early signs of neurodegenerative diseases. Our legs are our foundation, and when it weakens, so does the body's overall resilience to illness and injury. However, here's the encouraging news. Walking speed, like many other physical indicators, can be improved. The more you walk, the more you strengthen your leg muscles and cardiovascular system, the stronger and faster you become. If you've noticed your pace slowing down, don't despair, but don't ignore it either. Start small, increase the duration of your walks, add light strength exercises for your legs, use stairs instead of the elevator. How fast you move through life, literally, can tell you a lot about how long you'll keep moving at all. Pay attention to your pace. It just might be the simplest way to check in on your longevity prospects. Moving from the dynamics of movement to static strength, we find another seemingly non-obvious, yet surprisingly accurate indicator: grip strength. Believe it or not, the strength of your handshake or the ease with which you open jars or carry grocery bags might reveal more about your future than you think. Research has found that grip strength is one of the clearest markers of overall vitality and muscle mass in older adults. A firm, steady grip indicates not only strong hand muscles but also good condition of the entire muscular system, efficient circulation, and reliable functioning of the nervous system coordinating movements. Conversely, a weak or declining grip can be an early warning sign of muscle loss, that same sarcopenia we discussed regarding walking speed, increasing frailty, and even a higher risk of various health complications, including cardiovascular issues. Let's recall Robert, a 78-year-old man who always prided himself on his firm handshake. He stayed physically active, did light weightlifting, and never had trouble with everyday tasks requiring hand strength. Contrast him with Walter, his peer, who started noticing that twisting caps off bottles or carrying bags from the store became significantly harder. He dismissed it as just aging, not realizing that his declining grip strength was signaling a systemic loss of muscle mass, which makes him more vulnerable to falls, fractures, and, unfortunately, can shorten life expectancy. Our hands are a miniature mirror of the state of our entire musculature. If your grip weakens, chances are the rest of your body is weakening too. And the more strength you lose, the harder it becomes to stay independent, active, and resilient to illness. But here's the good news: muscle strength, including grip strength, can be rebuilt and maintained. Simple exercises like squeezing a tennis ball or a hand gripper, or even regularly carrying light weights, can help preserve hand strength and overall muscle mass. Take a moment and test your grip. If shaking hands feels weaker than it used to, or if everyday tasks are getting harder, don't ignore it, because how well you hold on to things today might hint at how well you'll hold on to life in the years to come. From strength, let's move to stability, another crucial aspect of physical function closely linked to longevity. Balance is something most of us don't think about until we start losing it. However, your ability to stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds is one of the strongest predictors of how long you'll live. Studies have shown that people who struggle with maintaining balance have a significantly higher risk of falls, serious injuries like hip fractures, which often lead to long-term health problems and reduced lifespan, and even cognitive decline. Conversely, those who maintain good balance well into their 70s and beyond generally live longer and healthier lives. Imagine two women, Carol and Nancy, both in their early 70s. Carol has always been active. She walks daily, does yoga, and can easily lift one foot off the ground for several seconds without wobbling. Nancy, on the other hand, hasn't paid much attention to her balance over the years. When she tries to stand on one leg, she immediately starts tipping over, needing to grab onto something to steady herself. Nancy doesn't realize that this loss of balance isn't just an inconvenience, it's a warning sign of declining coordination, muscle weakness, again, linking to sarcopenia, and possibly even a decline in brain function that controls posture. Good balance requires the coordinated work of strong leg and core muscles, sharp vision, effective function of the vestibular system, and a healthy brain integrating all this information. If you find yourself stumbling more often, feeling unsteady when turning quickly, or needing to hold onto walls or furniture for support, it's time to act. And the great news? Balance can be improved at any age. Simple exercises like standing on one leg, first near support, then without, walking heel to toe, practicing on unstable surfaces like a pillow, or gentle forms of Tai Chi or Qigong can help rebuild and strengthen balance. Try this simple test right now. Stand up and lift one foot off the floor. Can you hold it for 10 seconds without struggling? If not, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. The more you work on your balance today, the steadier and more confident you will feel in the years to come, reducing the risk of falls and their associated serious health consequences. Moving from the physical aspects of movement and stability to more internal processes, we arrive at another critically important indicator closely tied to our longevity: sleep patterns. How well you sleep at night can tell you a lot about how long you might live. Sleep is not just rest, it's the time when your body actively repairs itself, strengthens the immune system, consolidates memory, and clears toxins accumulated in the brain throughout the day. Studies have shown that people over 70 who maintain regular, high-quality sleep generally live longer and healthier lives, while those who constantly struggle with sleep problems, insomnia, frequent awakenings, fragmented sleep, have a higher risk of cognitive decline, cardiovascular diseases, metabolic disorders, and weakened immunity. Sleep disturbances can even accelerate cellular aging at a biological level. Compare two men in their mid-70s, Henry and Bill. Henry has an established sleep routine. He goes to bed and wakes up around the same time, sleeps about 7 hours each night, and wakes up feeling refreshed. Bill, on the other hand, spends restless nights, tossing and turning, waking up multiple times and sometimes struggling to fall asleep at all. Over time, Henry's body continues to function smoothly, his mind remains sharp, and his energy levels stay stable. Bill, however, starts experiencing symptoms of brain fog, daytime fatigue, irritability, and even changes in blood pressure, all linked to his declining sleep quality. If you often wake up in the middle of the night, have difficulty staying asleep, or find yourself exhausted even after hours in bed, don't brush it off. Your body is sending a distress signal. Poor sleep can be linked to various causes: stress, poor diet, lack of physical activity, medication side effects, or even undiagnosed conditions like obstructive sleep apnea, brief pauses in breathing during sleep. The good news? Sleep quality can almost always be improved. Simple changes like reducing screen time before bed, sticking to a routine, ensuring complete darkness and quiet in the bedroom, getting enough natural sunlight during the day to regulate circadian rhythms, or avoiding heavy meals and alcohol before bed can make a huge difference. Sleep isn't just about feeling rested, it's an investment in maintaining the optimal function of your body and brain. Pay attention to how you sleep. If you wake up tired, struggle to stay asleep, or feel like your sleep has changed in recent years, it's time to make adjustments, because how well you rest today can directly determine how strong and healthy you remain in the years to come. Moving from internal restoration through sleep to the external intake of vital resources, your appetite and eating habits. The way you eat after 70 is one of the strongest indicators of your longevity potential. A healthy appetite and a balanced diet ensure the intake of all necessary nutrients, support body strength, immune system resilience, and high energy levels. Conversely, a sudden loss of appetite or unhealthy eating habits can signal hidden health problems, nutrient deficiencies, and even accelerate biological aging and muscle loss. Consider two women, Margaret and Susan, both 74 years old. Margaret enjoys her meals, includes a variety of fresh, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean protein, whole grains in her diet, and maintains a steady weight. She looks forward to cooking and feels energized after eating. Susan, however, has noticed that she simply doesn't have the same appetite as before. She often skips meals, snacks on processed foods lacking in nutrients, and has unintentionally lost weight over the past year. She doesn't realize that her declining appetite isn't just a small change but an alarming signal that her body might not be receiving or properly absorbing essential nutrients. This can lead to further muscle loss and weakness, again, sarcopenia, a slowed metabolism, weakened immunity, and a decline in vitality. Decreased appetite in older adults is often linked to a range of issues: digestive disorders, hormonal changes, medication side effects, depression, or even early signs of cognitive decline. And when you're not eating enough, your body starts to break down its own muscles, leading to weakness, frailty, and an increased risk of falls and illness. If you've noticed changes in your eating habits, feeling full too quickly, lacking interest in food, or unexplained weight loss, it's important to take action. Eating well after 70 isn't just about being full. It's about providing your body with the fuel and building materials for optimal function. Focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods, stay hydrated, and don't ignore a shrinking appetite. It might be your body's way of telling you it needs help. Ask yourself, are you still enjoying your meals? Are you getting enough protein, fiber, and healthy fats and vitamins? Or have you noticed a decline in your appetite and energy levels? How you eat today has a direct impact on your strength and independence in the years ahead. From resource intake, let's move to the body's ability to cope with stress and external challenges, your skill at managing stress. How you handle stress after 70 can tell you a lot about how long you'll live. Chronic stress isn't limited to affecting mood. It has devastating physiological consequences. It weakens the immune system, increases inflammation levels in the body, which is at the root of many age-related diseases, raises the risk of cardiovascular diseases, metabolic disorders, and even accelerates cellular aging by damaging DNA and shortening telomeres. Conversely, people who can effectively manage stress tend to stay healthier, more active, and maintain mental sharpness in later years. Their bodies and minds are more resilient to the damaging effects of life's adversities. Compare John and Richard, both 76 years old. John faces challenges like anyone else, unexpected expenses, health scares, family worries. But he has learned to approach them calmly and thoughtfully. He practices deep breathing techniques, maintains active social connections, another link, doesn't dwell on problems longer than necessary, and finds ways to switch off. Richard, however, holds on to stress. He constantly worries about things beyond his control, feels overwhelmed by minor frustrations, and often gets stuck in negative thought patterns. Over time, this constant stress wears on his body. His blood pressure rises, his sleep suffers a connection, and his energy levels drop. Long-term stress, by maintaining chronic inflammation, contributes to the development of almost all major age-related diseases, from Alzheimer's to heart failure. If you often feel tense, irritable, emotionally drained, or constantly anxious, don't ignore these signals. Finding ways to manage stress, whether through mindfulness practices, meditation, regular physical exercise, it lowers cortisol levels, deep breathing, creative pursuits, spending time in nature, or even just being able to laugh, can literally add years to your life and improve its quality. Ask yourself, when challenges arise, do you adapt and move forward, or do you hold on to worries and let stress take over? Your ability to stay calm, find solutions, and focus on what you can control is not just good for your mind, it's a key factor in how long and how well you will live. Finally, the last, but no less important, and perhaps one of the strongest indicators of well-being and longevity is the quality and strength of your social connections. The strength of your relationships with others can be one of the clearest harbingers of how long you might live after 70. Studies consistently confirm that people with strong social ties, whether through friendships, family, community involvement, or volunteering, generally live longer and healthier lives. These connections provide emotional support, a sense of belonging, stimulate mental activity, and even promote healthier behaviors. For example, friends might motivate you to exercise or eat better. Loneliness, on the other hand, is recognized as a significant risk factor. Chronic loneliness and social isolation are linked to an increased risk of heart disease, depression, cognitive decline, the brain doesn't receive enough stimulation from social interaction, and even early mortality. The impact of loneliness on health is comparable to risk factors like smoking or obesity. Look at Eleanor and Barbara, both 78 years old. Eleanor has an active social life. She stays in touch with old friends, participates in a local book club, enjoys gardening with neighbors, and loves spending time with family. She looks forward to conversations, laughs often, and feels a deep connection with the people around her. Her mental activity is supported by discussions and interactions. Barbara, however, spends most of her time alone. Over the years, she has lost touch with many friends, and although she has family, she rarely reaches out or sees them. As the months pass, she feels increasingly isolated, her mood worsens, risk of depression, and her overall health begins to decline. Human connection is more than just emotional support, it plays a direct biological role in physical health. When you actively interact with others, your brain stays more active, stress hormone levels decrease, a link to stress, and the body produces substances that promote overall well-being. If you've noticed yourself withdrawing from social activities, avoiding phone calls, or spending more time alone than before, it's time to change that. Maintaining connections doesn't mean you have to be surrounded by people all the time. Even small efforts, reaching out to an old friend, joining a group based on shared interests, volunteering, regularly calling loved ones, can make a huge difference. The relationships you nurture today bring not only joy and meaning, but also help ensure you stay healthier and live longer in the years to come. Furthermore, having a sense of purpose in life, a goal or project you are working on, also correlates with longevity. It provides a reason to get up in the morning and maintain activity, which, in turn, affects all other indicators. So, now that we have examined these 7 and even more, considering the interconnections and additional aspects, signals given by our bodies and lifestyles, it's worth pausing and asking, where do you stand? Are you moving through life with strength, balance, and confidence, or do you notice those subtle changes that might be warning signs? Remember that the future is not set in stone. The most important and encouraging thing about these indicators is their potential modifiability. Most of these factors, walking speed, grip strength, balance, sleep quality, eating habits, ability to manage stress, social connections, sense of purpose, are within our control or, at least, within our influence. The choices you make today, every small effort aimed at improving one of these aspects, can have a powerful, cumulative impact on how many healthy and active years you have ahead of you. If you've identified areas that need attention, don't wait for a doctor to point out a problem. The time to act is now. Start moving more, regularly strengthen your muscles, not just arms and legs, but core too, deliberately work on your balance, make quality sleep a priority, revise your eating habits towards whole and nutrient-rich foods, actively learn to manage stress. And most importantly, invest time and energy in your relationships with loved ones and participation in community life. The goal is not just to increase the number of years lived, but to enhance the quality of every single day. Because ultimately, longevity is measured not just by the number of years left on the calendar, but by the fullness of life you experience, the energy you possess, and the connections that surround you in those years. It's a continuous journey of self-care, a path towards a longer and more fulfilling life that begins with recognizing these simple but powerful signals from your body.